for me, I'm biased because I like to renovate all my projects myself. I like to buy fixers and put that equity into the home myself. It gives me peace of mind knowing what's behind the walls. I get to insure all the mechanicals. I get to put everything into that house to make sure I know it's good and functional and built well. And again, I have all that equity now. I own that equity in the home. If I bought a house that was already fixed up, somebody else put that equity into the home. Somebody else built all those mechanicals and made that house functional. You won't always know the quality of work that happened before you because you can't see it. It's behind the walls, it's hidden. So buying a fixer-upper and you doing that work will give you that peace of mind. And generally, you pay less for the construction cost to bring that up to a finished property than you would for an already polished, finished house. That's just the way it usually works. And that's because you're paying for that end result. The vision, the time, the effort, all of that is what you're paying for when you buy a fully renovated property. So for all those reasons, I lean towards the fixer-uppers. But all that being said, it's not lost on me that for a newer investor, a full renovation project can be, completely overwhelming. It is a lot of coordination and it's a lot to do. It's a lot to manage. So if you haven't done it before, I don't recommend diving in on your first project to a massive, renovation project, because the last thing you want to do is get into this investment space and then overwhelm yourself and turn yourself off the whole experience. That's, I think, the worst thing that could probably happen. So for anyone that's getting started, I would always recommend that you start with a house that is not a fully finished property, but something that needs just the cosmetic finishes. And by cosmetic finishes, what I like to say to people is, when you're looking for that perfect house to get into, you're looking for grandma's house, because grandma's house is functional. She took care of it. She just didn't update the drapes for 30 years. She hasn't changed the living room since you were a kid. So all those things are still the stuff you grew up on, but the house is functionally sound. You're not going to have any major foundational issues or any major electrical or plumbing because she's kept the house up to snuff. But those are the type of properties I recommend you look for. But the market's fierce. There's other people looking for the same properties. But in all seriousness, those are the kinds of things that I would recommend for the newer investor. So while it's not a full renovation, it's not a fully finished project either. It's somewhere in between. And I think that's the sweet spot that a new investor is going to get into, where they're not taking on a full fixer-upper, but there's minor cosmetic fixes that you won't become overwhelmed with and you can handle, and you can get this thing fixed and rented and be on your way. But the thing to keep in mind when you're comparing a fixer-upper to a fully finished renovated project is when you do that upfront analysis to figure out how much money you need to spend and what your return on your money is, make sure you incorporate the fact that there's going to be a renovation budget associated with a fixer-upper project. Something that's already renovated and finished, they've already done that. So you're paying for that up front. So this is going to cost more than this to get into the project. However, when you do your analysis, you have to incorporate what your construction cost is anticipated to be, because that's real money that you're going to have to spend after you close on the home. So make sure that you are really comparing apples to apples before you make your decision, because that should drive, which project is ultimately a better property to get into.